really the first thing I want to talk about when playing Mabinogi is the combat system, because it is very different from RuneScape. And full admission, obviously, I've really only played old school RuneScape. So if RuneScape 3's combat system has made major overhauls, and I'm sure it has, because I think that's mainly what it was. Don't blame me for that. I'm just comparing to old school RuneScape, and I'm saying here, for the sake of this video, let's get this out of the way. I love old school RuneScape as it is, and this isn't like some sort of like direct comparison of like what's better or what's worse. It's just kind of more of like RuneScape's like this and Mabinogi's like this. They're both great games that do what I want them to, and that's be good games. Which sometimes is hard to find nowadays, and sometimes it's hard to find games that are finished on release. I'm not looking at any particular games, but anyway, the combat system in Mabinogi is amazing for the most part. I like it because for the most part there's a lot more options than in RuneScape, I think. I think for the most part in RuneScape, you're basically just magic, ranged, and, well, just regular, combat, like swords, right? But, I mean, in Mabinogi, there's, like, so much more variety with what you can do, and you can put combos of skills together to get buffs, that boost their attack, and, like, okay, so there's talents, right? So the main system with Mabinogi for skills, I don't think it started like this, at least not when I started playing, but I think at some point they added talents, and basically that system allows you to, like, you can be a master warrior, you're really good at swords or whatever, or you can be a master mage, you're great at magic, but that talent system gives you some extra passive buffs to your character. But what it also lets you do at some point is you can get what my character is a Dark Diviner, is a combination of those talents, and you get a blend of their skills. So like one of the, I'm not sure if I use it here, I probably do. Shadow Flare is a good one. It's not one of these ones. It's number 6 on my hotbar. It is a combination of magic and Chain Slasher, which is a talent that I'm not sure probably exists in RuneScape. And also in Mabinogi we have alchemy, we have like more so than just like actual making stuff alchemy, like battle alchemy, like shooting stuff. Shooting with like alchemaic crystals, like fire, water, that kind of stuff. And so I mean, there's just a lot more variety. You can do a lot more, and you can feel like you can add a combination of things. You feel like you can play your way a lot more, and that's what I have to give to Mabinogi over something like RuneScape is, while I love RuneScape, Mabinogi lets you customize your experience so much more, so that you can, I mean, like, there's not parts of the game you can eliminate, I don't think, but for the most part, you can do anything in any order. I know you can do that in old school RuneScape too, but basically everything in this game adds to your like your combat, even your combat basically. So like, I mean, doing skills like chopping trees, right, but it increases your strength, and that makes sense because I mean it's hard work chopping trees. I wouldn't know because I haven't chopped any wood. But anyway, here at the homestead, which I mean, it's a good segue. So here at the homestead, we're collecting resources, and the point here of the homestead is to be able to have like a nice place where you can just come collect all your resources. And I mean, I love running around the Grand Exchange to collect things, but I also love just being able to go to one place and constantly clicking on a single blob while my puppets pick up all of my herbs for me. Which, by the way, I did not know that was doable until right now, until I wanted to do that so I could make my life easier. But anyway, we want to collect all of these so we can sell them. So the auction house in Mabinogi is basically the equivalent of the Grand Exchange. I would still say that the Grand Exchange is like way cooler, and I think it's a lot more useful because so for Mabinogi, if you wanna, you can set up your own shops, right? So that's something you can do in Mabinogi, and usually that's reserved for Channel 1 Dunbarton, or I mean usually just Dunbarton. And I think there's another place. It's one of the ports. I can't remember which one. But one of the ports, you can also find people setting up shops. You can buy things like dyes, so you can, dye your clothing, which is another great customization feature of Mabinogi. Like, there's seriously a ton. Like, this game's all really, I would say, mostly about customization, really. And there's like, there's some other things, the story, the combat. But you could just customize so much. They added a whole new like area recently for Generation 26, where you can build basically your own town for the most part. So I would say Mabinogi's doing pretty well in adding features. They're doing their best to try to fix up issues with the code base, which I can appreciate, before they go forward with porting it to a new engine. I think I gotta link some of the screenshots and the things they've posted, because it looks really good. And I think I will link that. But, as we go here, we sell our herbs and stuff like that. The point is to make money, like any game. Money is your best friend, but especially in Mabinogi, because a lot of the endgame weapons, for sure, the nice cosmetics that you might want to purchase. I've been trying to buy, like, genuinely, I've been trying to buy a mustache on the auction house for a while, but it's at 3 million, and I just like can't afford that. That's all of my money. So, for the most part, if you want nice cosmetics, you're gonna have to be keeping your eyes out for stuff on the auction house. There's always gonna be dyes in Dunbarton. I think you can probably find stuff for good deals, but your next best bet is, well, you can use gacha to pay for the chance to maybe have decent dyes, but my recommendation is you just leave it up to chance, or go with off-whites or off colors. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Most of my colors don't match. The blues, anyway, don't match, and I'm okay with that. The silvers might not match, but there's two other parts of Mabinogi I really want to highlight. The first of them is shadow missions. So I got my pet here, and that's another great thing to mention, is that pets in Mabinogi are super useful. Not only do they give you extra inventory space, which in this game is an absolute must, and I guess in RuneScape it is too, but at least, well, a lot of items do stack in Mabinogi, so maybe that's not the issue. There's just a lot of items in Mabinogi, but anyway, these shadow missions are a great way to raise your skills, blah blah blah, but you have to do them. You don't have to do them. There's daily missions that you can complete that will give you some, some rewards. And it's a repeat mission you could do every day. You can just do it on the easiest difficulty if you're having issues. And for the most part, there's people running them. And, I mean, I play Mabinogi pretty much every day. You see my username here. If you want to add me, go ahead. I don't really have anyone that I know that plays Mabinogi other than, like, my guild. And I'm going to be honest with you there. Even that looks a little slim, so, if you ever need help doing some missions, definitely let me know. Or, it'll probably be more like he'll be the one helping me. I don't know. I would like to think that I'm pretty good at this game, but I'm not super great. But anyway, one of these skills that we're showing off here is Awakening of Light. You can transform into a demigod, and there's lots of other transformations in the game. Well, I don't know if there's lots. Maybe there's like 3 or 4 others, and you can transform into like basically any other animal or mob in the game. So, I mean, there is a lot of options. This game is just like, yeah, it's really good. There's a lot of options, and it gives you a lot of options for what you can do, and that's what I appreciate. So here we're just most of these mobs, like, they're pretty easy to annihilate, because for the most part, most ranged attacks will do. I do use chain slashing every once in a while, but I've been trying to do magic more because it's a lot better. But for like one enemy at a time, chain slashing is definitely the better one. Just raise up some Dorka and then chain impale every time. And yeah, that's pretty much it with shadow missions. I mean, there's not much to them. You just run around, defeat some enemies, at least with this one. Some of them are a lot more fun and make you a lot more money. Definitely you should think about doing Sulfur Spider, and I think Shadow Wizard is probably the most popular one. I'm not sure, does Sulfur Spiders even give that much? Okay, definitely Shadow Wizard. And I mean, if you get huge lucky bonuses like this, I mean, you'll get tons of money, so not an issue. Okay, and then finally, the last thing I wanted to cover was trading. And this is something that's kind of unique, I think. I mean, I haven't really seen it that much in other games, but, you know, here's what I like about trading, is that it kind of forces you to this is what the graphics overhaul update will really make better, is it kind of just forces you to just absorb the world, the Mabinogi world. I mean, you don't have to. You could just auto route, I mean, for the most part. And by auto route, I mean, like, you can just click on the mini map and it'll take you there, but sometimes it's not that good. And they try to prevent you from just, like, kind of AFKing, because there's sometimes bandits that might get in your way while you're trading. I took a candy so that no bandits would come interfere with us, so that we could finish this in 20 minutes. But we do have a great way of making some extra EXP. I mean, you don't really get, I don't think you really get gold from running missions. You get ducats is what you get in exchange, and you can use those to get like some nicer, more, I think they're like, I don't want to say that word because I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's like foamer, I think is the word. They're like the enemies of Mabinogi. It's not a bad word, I just don't know how to pronounce it. I thought it was former for the longest time until I realized there wasn't an extra R. But yeah, you can just keep doing these trades, and you can buy former weapons is what I was getting at. Former weapons, and they're pretty powerful, but I mean, for the most part, you can also just buy weapons off the auction house if you get enough gold. And other than that, I guess ducats will let you buy more expensive trading goods, and I feel like the best thing you can do is, okay, so there's a growth guide. I think that's it. I think there's the growth guide. There's the Blaned quests. If you get into Mabinogi, which I am absolutely encouraging you to do, there's plenty of resources for you to get up and running. I think the game has done a pretty good job at trying to get new players more up and running with the later generations than trying to play through all the slog that is like raising your skills high enough to be able to be decent at the first generation and then going through that. So I mean, they definitely accelerated the pace of the game, and I appreciate that as a later player, because it means that more newer players can come in and experience the game and not feel like they're totally left out. Because for the longest time, I felt that way, even as playing as like for a while. Like, you know, you kind of just feel like you just see everyone standing around in Dunbarton and you feel like you're maybe a little bit lesser than them. Anyway, here's all the dyes I was talking about. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Here is my encouragement for you to try Mabinogi out. You know, try old school RuneScape out too. They're both great games. Give them a try. Revisit your childhood. Maybe you didn't play them, so now is your chance to try them out. They're still going strong. And I will see you in the next video.